What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. So, a lot is going on in the Season of Discovery, and it's time to do an update on everything going on. There's a couple of blue posts that came out, and it's basically going to be a news recap for this week. Now, the developers here are doing a fantastic job listening to the community, keeping us informed, making sure that classes get adjustments, and just listening to the feedback that they get from the community as well. So, let's take a look at what they have in store for us right now this week and in the future as well. In this video we're going to be looking at the class changes coming this week with the maintenance, so that's going to be today for North America and tomorrow for EU I think, and then we're also going to take a look at some realm stuff. Apparently we're going to be able to jump from PvP servers to PvE servers for free, and we're going to take a look at a tweet, and that is basically what we're going to do in this video. So without further ado, let's check out the first thing here, which is class tuning. Upcoming class tuning this week. Tomorrow during each region's normal maintenance period, so once again that's Tuesday for North America and Wednesday morning for EU, or really early Wednesday morning, we will apply the following adjustments to classes in Season of Discovery. For Druids, the natural weapons talent now increases all damage done by Druids in Season of Discovery instead of just physical damage. This is really good because even as a boomkin you want to have this talent to get down to Omen of Clarity, and this will give you a flat 10% damage increase. So that's also really good because let's be real, boomkins were struggling a little bit on the damage output. The Gale Winds rune now reduces the mana cost of Hurricane by 60%, which is also good, and it has a lot more damage now, and it's still really expensive, but now it's 60% less mana to use this one, so really good for AoE whenever that is necessary. Swiftman no longer consumes a rejuve or regrowth effect on the target when used. Developers note, please note that it does still require rejuve or regrowth to be on the target to be used. For paladins we have a couple of interesting things. Number 1, Seal of Righteousness damage can now be critical hit. Number 2, Sacred Shield's duration has been literally doubled. Crusader Strike has now gained an additional effect. Crusader Strike now refreshes all judgment effects active on the target to a 30-second remaining duration. And here's what all the paladins have been asking for, and we finally have it. Seal of Martyrdom can now twist with other seals, including Seal of Command. Now, there's a big developer's note here. I'm going to try to read through most of it. Seal twisting was an interesting emergent effect that became popular during the original Burning Crusade that utilized the slower server messaging system used in early versions of WoW to slightly extend the duration of the Paladin's active seal for a short time whenever a second seal was cast. This effectively allowed Paladins to momentarily gain the benefit of 2 seals at once if they used the application of a new seal to line up perfectly just before their weapon swing. This is something we would have considered a bug at the time, but for many players it became a popular feature of the class, allowing skilled players to increase their output with precision gameplay. We recreated this playstyle in Burning Crusade Classic, and since then it's been a popular request in other versions of OG WoW, including Season of Discovery. We had concerns about allowing Seal of Martyrdom and Seal of Command specifically to be twisted together in Season of Discovery for a variety of reasons, including the fact that the playstyle is highly mana efficient. It largely requires add-ons such as a weapon swing timer to function properly, and twisting can be unintuitive for less experienced players, as part of the charm and uniqueness of playing a paladin during those early eras of WoW history. Wait. As the game matures and we continue to listen to player feedback, on the other hand, we recognize that for some, this is part of the charm and uniqueness of playing a paladin during those early eras of WoW history. We consider this change to be experimental, and we will watch the performance and behavior of Retri Paladins closely after this change. Should it prove problematic, we may revert this change or apply additional adjustments later. We greatly appreciate the feedback we received about this thus far. With this change to allow twisting, we do not expect to see a major change in the optimal way to play Retribution right away. Due to the interaction between Art of War, Martyrdom, and Exorcism, we will likely need a larger redesign and changes to that interaction to truly add more diversity to the Ret playstyle. We are evaluating options here for potential changes we can make, either via hotfix during Phase 3 or as part of a larger effort for Phase 4. And based on the tweet we're going to take a look at later today, they are maybe looking to do a bunch of things in Phase 4 that could cause it could cause mayhem. It could be absolutely crazy. But either way, continuing here, Priest Shadow Form damage increases all shadow damage by 25%, and this one used to be 15, so that's a flat 10% increase. That's pretty good. For Rogues, Saber/Bleed now stacks up to 5 times. Saber/Bleed now also increases the impact damage done by Sinister Strike, and Saber/Slash by 15% per stack for the Rogue who applied the bleed. Saber/Bleed now deals 3% of the Rogue's attack power in damage per tick. This used to be 5%. Okay, so this should make Sword Rogues slightly better due to the amount of stacks you can have and the impact damage, right? Shaman's Mental Dexterity now only triggers from dealing damage with Storm Strike and Lava Lash, and it now lasts 30 seconds. It used to be 10. Burn now increases Flame Shock damage by 100% and Flame Shock dot duration by 6 seconds, and causes Flame Shock to strike up to 5 targets, and this used to be 3. Developer's note here is that we have received a lot of feedback about the overall usability of Mental Dexterity, particularly for Elemental Shamans. This ability was not intended to be used by Elemental, so the adjustments we have made here are to help ensure its usage is a bit more enhancement-centric. To compensate, we have increased the output of and usability of the Burn Rune with a slight quality of life improvement in the form of a Flame Shock duration increase, which allows 2 Lava Burst casts to be used within a single Flame Shock duration. This is likely not going to be enough to overall bring Elemental up to the level we want, so we intend to continue to make other tactical adjustments in future class adjustments, updates as needed. In the weeks to come, we are carefully planning for more adjustments to Hunters, Mages, Shamans and Warlocks in future updates. We really appreciate the feedback we have received since the start of Phase 3, and we look forward to sharing more about our next round of adjustments with you very soon. Now, before we go over to the limited character transfers, or the free ones, from PvP servers to PvE, I want to take a look at Agwen's tweet here, which gives us a little bit more of an insight into what they're thinking when it comes to class changes and stuff and things in general. Now, Agwen made a post on the forums and also on his Twitter, personal Twitter, talking about asking for feedback, in which he got so many replies about potential feedback and they're listing things they might want to do, which, for example, talks about normalizing warrior rage, instead of it being this mechanic where when you deal more damage you get more rage, and the more rage you have the more damage you deal, and it just scales to infinity. They were looking to maybe not looking to, but he was hinting towards normalizing rage, which would be massive for warriors, by the way, and they're looking to bring sword rogues more up to speed and just changing the way certain classes play, and they're even up for literally recreating class designs. So they're looking for everything here for Phase 4 and level 60 content. Now, based on that, he made that tweet, then these changes came out. He felt the need to clarify why he didn't take inspiration from the comments on that thread for these changes. So, a round of changes are going out tomorrow, or those are the ones coming out now, and after reading some comments, I want to clarify that this week's changes were already done and dusted when I posted the feedback thread last week. I posted that thread Thursday, and we didn't even start parsing through the responses in earnest until Saturday. We did not work through the weekend to make those changes in response to that thread. A lot of the adjustments coming this week and in the next few weeks are just that, adjustments. Generally, they are not redesigns, but adjustments. We have more adjustments coming, but a lot of the data gathered from that thread is just to help us identify or confirm what we already knew about, problems as you see them, for the future to inform potential redesigns. Really appreciate the replies to that thread, but I didn't really want anyone to get the idea that this week's updates were the grand reveal of changes to come from that thread. So that's just a quick little update there, and I've already made a video talking about that thread, so if you want to check that out, well, you can. It's like video number 5 on my channel right now, so you can check out that one. Either way, another big piece of news which has nothing to do with classes, but more about Season of Discovery in general. PvP servers, they have been interesting in Phase 3, going from the opposite faction, like whatever faction you play. If you play Horde, you probably hate the Alliance for doing this, and if you're playing Alliance, you probably hate the Horde for doing this. People have been farming honor in the open world because literally that's the best way to farm honor. Blizzard made a decision to nerf honor points or nerf the honor gains in Stranglethorn Vale. Battlegrounds are not really the play. Plus, they have really long queue times sometimes, so a bunch of people have pre-mades camping in the open world. Think about Maraudon, the inner portal openings, how many of whatever the opposite faction is for you were camping that portal for you, and think about the nightmare incursions in Ashenvale, how many people were camping those NPCs on PvP servers before they added the guards. It was absolutely horrible. Like me, I said multiple times, if nothing gets done here, I really want to start being on a PvE server, because it was horrible. People just made 100-person raids and camped NPCs. Like, that is so trash. That is not the PvP that I personally want. I would rather just have, well, actual PvP. The ganking around, being 100 people, ganking at a quest giver, and focusing on killing low-level people, by the way, like the incursions are level 40 people, that's not PvP for me. That is just trash behavior. But either way, enough rant. They have made an update about this, so when we launched Season of Discovery, we made some bold decisions. One of those was the creation of enforced faction balanced PvP realms. When we did this, we did our best to communicate some caveats that this may not end up being the experience you want from World of Warcraft, as PvP realms can be intensely challenging experience at times. While we are happy with how the faction balance system has worked out, we knew from player feedback internally and externally that the reality of a balanced presence of both factions on a single realm, and that individual layers will not always have equal factions, means that some folks have now decided they would instead prefer a PvE rule set, but have characters locked to those PvP realms. And I'm so happy this blue post states the layering problem without going deeper into it. The thing is, I think a lot of people play on PvP servers to be able to say they play on PvP servers, even though they hate the PvP aspect. I see this all the time in my guild chat, in world chat, in LFG chat, looking for invite to Horde layer, or looking for invite to Alliance layer, looking for group incursions, only Alliance layer. So they're looking to, we have 10 layers on Living Flame, for example. Layer 1 becomes the Alliance layer, layer 2 becomes the Horde layer. The thing is, people play on a PvP server, but they actively do what they can to avoid PvP, unless they make a ganking group, like a 40-man raid to gank quest givers. In that case, those people will actively seek PvP, but most people, or I don't really want to say most, but a lot of people are actively playing on this PvP server, while also actively doing all that they can to avoid PvP. They go to a layer, they ensure that layer is mostly their faction, and they just do whatever they can to avoid PvP. I feel like the whole PvP server thing is kinda weird, especially with the player behavior as well, doing what they can to just like, even though they play on a PvP server, they're trying to make it not a PvP server by being on the layer that is mostly or only their faction. So even though the server is 50-50, or like really close to 50-50 in terms of faction balance, players themselves do whatever they can to shift those scales in their favor by making certain layers overpopulated on one faction. We even saw this happen back in Phase 1 when the Ashenvale, Battle for Ashenvale, when that was layer specific. We had like layer 1 was the Alliance layer, layer 2 was the Horde layer. People on my server actively avoided PvP in the Ashenvale battle in Phase 1, and they made it so that all the Horde would gather on one layer to win that layer, while all the Alliance would gather on a different layer to win that layer. It's been like problems since Phase 1 that people just actively avoid PvP to the best of their ability while still being on a PvP server. Okay, continuing the blue post, to that end, we genuinely want everyone to have the best time they can in Season of Discovery, so over the next few weeks, we will be periodically opening free character transfers from PvP realms to PvE realms. It is important to see free character transfers here. Now, this is a W from Blizzard. They're just farming Ws here. I think it's great. These transfer windows will open and close fairly rapidly, and we offer no guarantee that you'll be able to transfer. The reasoning for this is simple. We need to ensure that the one faction does not disproportionately leave a realm, undoing months of hard work with realm faction balance. These transfer options will be periodically available starting Tuesday, and will open and close throughout the rest of this week. As always, thank you for joining us in Season of Discovery. We have experimented a lot and learned much that will ultimately lead to bigger and better things. Okay, Classic Plus, baby! Dude, this is great. But either way, so they will open up free transfers from PvP servers to PvE servers, but let's just say that 5% of the Alliance leaves that server. They will likely lock the option for Alliance to leave until Horde catches up. They always want to have a certain faction balance on PvP servers, which means that when too many of one faction leaves, well, they will just lock that faction until the other one catches up. Either way, big W by Blizzard right there, and that's pretty much the news update. That's what's happening now and what's happening in the next couple of weeks. They're looking at more class adjustments as well, which is great, and if you are tired of being on PvP servers, but you still have your mains there, and you feel like you've invested too much time, well, there we go, we have the solution for pretty much everyone. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Bit of an unscripted one today and talking about the news, but I think Blizzard are doing a lot of good things and it's worth knowing about. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments as well, and subscribe for more Classic WoW content, whether that is for Catechism Classic or Season of Discovery. I am playing them both. Either way, thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video very soon.